Before we start the video, you guys, I would like to give a big shout out to Endo Fett of Shoot First, member of the Bounty Contracting Ltd. As from my stream, we had 3 little treasure events going on, and the idea was every time I went flashy from PvP combat, we would warp somewhere in the pod that was granted by you guys, the viewers, and whatever implants you guys sent me, and we would sit there in the pod outside of stations and we would just wait until the suspect timer ended, and we would wait until somebody was ballsy enough to shoot us and kill us, and then we would reward them one of the rewards. So Endo Fett was ballsy enough to be one of the pilots, and literally, guys, this blows my mind. I was a flashy suspect, like 500-600 million ISK pod kill, sitting outside of a station for 5 days. I did this every time I went suspect due to PvP combat. I went in my pod. Whether I won the fight or lost the fight, if I won the fight, I warped to station, dock ship, undock pod, wait. Nothing. Endo, congrats, man. You were the only one in 5 days to light up the pod. In doing so, he was awarded the last reward, which was a Trigvalian Tech 2 Destroyer, Command Destroyer, the Dragoon. I think that is how it's pronounced. So congrats to you, and I'll see you again out in the Pew grounds. Peace. Hey, what's up all you basement dwellers? Tickle My Shoes here, aka Fluffalole, also known as the Hecate King when I play games such as EVE Online. Today I wanted to go over in my Alpha Adventure series. Today's version is the Tristan. What we have here is a high DPS brawler version of a T1 Tristan. It gets pretty good stats to its core. So this version of the Tristan that I made it more of a brawler than anything, as it's pretty good as a kiting ship and stuff like that. But powerful in an alpha hands, it seems to be best as a brawler, as you can exceed about 170 DPS if you heat it. So for this is pretty good for an alpha, 174.4 DPS. As you can see right here, it gives bonus to tracking speed and bonus to the drone hit points and their tracking speed as well. So what we did is we ancillary buffed ourselves, giving us some traversal bulkhead buffer so that we can get off all of our charges even if we have bleed effect. Also, instead of using Tech 2 traversal bulkheads, even though they're pretty cheap, we put in the small hybrid burst aerator 2. What that does is that reduces your time under the 2-second range if you go to attributes, and now you're firing at 1.93 seconds, which is incredibly fast. So to counterbalance that, we use the AE-K compact drone damage amplifier that reduces the CPU need output, and we use this as a 1MY-SA that allows us to sneak on the small energy Nosta 2, making sure that if we're under heavy nuke pressure, you can overheat this and count your cycles as 1 to 1 and your guns will never shut off. That's when you're being neuted with the old 2, cycle 1, cycle 1.5. All in all, guys, it's a pretty solid ship, so make sure that you use the low CPU, low CPU, low CPU, low CPU, so that you can sneak on the small energy Nosta 2. And as you can see over here, we are still holding true to the alpha clone and combating in alpha. The upside of this ship is, you guys, that it puts out a high amount of DPS over the 150 mark, where some of the more heavier tanked T1 frigates and combat style can't even crack the 130, 140 mark. So being able to bypass the 150 mark straight as an alpha is pretty serious and allows you to get some good fights. The downfall to this is you have to remember that you're still alpha clone, so you can only fight T1 frigates. You can't even risk fighting a faction frigate. Good piloting skills and piloting error on their part might allow you to achieve a good faction kill, but all in all, you still are, in the end, always will be an alpha account. And to understand what I mean by that, if you guys look over here and you look at like basic, say the armor resistances here, we will always have only 10%, which makes anything that comes with an alpha build, you guys, it makes it more powerful towards the alpha player to not be armor based, but to be structure tanked, because you can see my resistances right here are 60% across the board, whereas if you look straight at my armor and all this resistance right here, all of this should be up 15% more, but due to the alpha status we can't have that. So every alpha clone player must take into account that the structure is king when it comes to all alpha clones and PvP combat. With that said, let's get right into the video.
tell you to do one thing, but I implore you to do the opposite. Let the games begin. Somebody has to die.
Live or die.